Hello, good morning. My name is Des Futak. In case you don't know me, I'm a business owner. I've been in business for the last 12 years, and I'm making what I'd say a pretty rare video that I want people to know about, because I think obviously, at the time of making this video, we are in probably the biggest tumultuous change, unpredictable future of a lifetime. And obviously that can be quite a scary sounding thing, but also for me, I think it produces lots of potential opportunities. There is always adversity on one side of the coin and opportunity on the other. And I think sometimes we can choose what we focus on, and that can affect the outcome. Obviously, there are always forces outside of our control, but what we can do is we can control our activity and our thoughts and our actions, and actually act accordingly. So I just wanted, this video really is to encourage you to think innovatively, particularly right now. And this also is a video, a little bit of history about myself. I started in business in 2008 after coming from a very academic background. I was a physics teacher and very interested in theoretical physics when I was a teenager, and sort of the whole thing about theories of everything and so on. And I drifted into physics teaching and taught physics for nearly 17 years. And then in my early 40s, I left teaching to start my own business during the last recession in 2008. So probably the worst time to start a business. But by 2011, I'd left teaching and actually have been running my business from home ever since, which is where I am now. My office has always been the lounge in my house, which is very kind of humble in some ways, but in another way, I think it's absolutely perfect, because it means that life kind of fits around family, and family kind of is very much kind of part of what I'm about. So that's a bit of background about myself. So the other thing you might be interested to know is that I've always been someone who is, I would say, a pattern spotter, a pattern matcher. Now, whether that is people or big ideas, it's something that I've always been kind of slightly ahead of the curve on. And so I like to communicate and I like to teach, because I'm still a teacher, really. And one of the things I want to teach you about and make you aware of is something that is a bit of an old chestnut now, and that is blockchain technology and Bitcoin and all kinds of things. But I wanted to talk to you about it from the perspective of innovative opportunities, rather than necessarily making a quick buck, because there are always opportunities to make quick money. But what's more interesting and more important in the long run is actually finding your place in the current trends that the world is going through, and actually being able to do something fruitful and meaningful on a kind of a work basis. That is, obviously there's more to life than work, but I'm talking to you in the context of work, because it plays an important part of all of our lives. So what prompted me to make this video and to talk to you today? Well, a couple of things. First of all, I wanted to give a big shout out to Gregory McCubbin, and I'm just going to make myself a bit smaller here so you can see. So Gregory McCubbin has a YouTube channel called Dapp University, which looks at blockchain technology. And I just want to encourage you to, if you are interested in blockchain technology, I would say probably out of all the channels I've seen on YouTube, and I've seen quite a lot on sort of blockchain and all that kind of thing, I think probably Gregory is the, well, hands down, one of the best channels I've seen on giving a lot of free value up front. Now, he has a boot camp, and he also has kind of a whole kind of monthly membership. But if you are interested in technology yourself, if you have a computer science background or you're a technically minded person, you're interested, then his free videos definitely can help you get started in the right direction. So big shout out for him. Now, obviously YouTube knows I'm interested in this. That's why they feed me these videos. So the second thing I wanted to make you aware of, and that's really what prompted me to make this video, is a guy called Ivan on Tech. He does a podcast and a YouTube live stream every day. He's been doing that for quite a few years now. He's quite a young lad, but he is a blockchain developer himself, and also a blockchain communicator, enthusiast, and potential investor. Now, he downloaded a report from a company called ARK Invest. Now, ARK Invest are a totally legitimate organization. They're looking at big trends. They're looking at the 5 big trends that are going on at the moment in the world, and that is to do with, DNA, the DNA revolution, for want of a better word, blockchain technology, transportation and energy, and a couple of others that they mention about in the video. There's a 2-minute kind of video down here, which which is quite a good overview of what they're about. And I haven't been able to get hold of this report yet because the download link wasn't working. So I just emailed them to ask them about this. But in this Big Ideas Report 2020, which Ivan actually, or Ivan, I suppose I should call him, he actually mentions about, and that's the title of this video, which is the Cambrian explosion of monetary systems. Now, the current world economy is built on the US reserve currency for historical reasons. You might know all about that. But that edifice or that structure is rapidly crumbling, particularly as banks globally continue to pump money into the economy just to stop. Really, the whole purpose of this pumping money into the economy is to try and keep this thing afloat, because if it implodes, then it could lead to political and civil unrest and all sorts of things. So I don't know if you know about the Great Depression, but prior to the Great Depression, there was a big campaign to inject money into the economy, and to some extent it worked, but they stopped. And so the banks of the world, they understand that in order to keep the system rolling, they have to be able to print money. But obviously the potential for that is hyperinflation on the other side of stagflation, which is what we've currently got. So they're playing a very, very risky game, and they're treading on very thin ice. And the dinghy boat's got lots of holes in it, and they just kind of try to pump more and more air into it, more and more holes appearing. So in the middle of all of this chaos, ARK Invest have actually produced this report, which I haven't got access to yet, but this is Ivan's kind of screenshot, or he's kind of overviewing the document, and he talks about this key idea that ARK Invest are putting forward, that what we're witnessing right now is a massive opportunity. Now, if you're an investor, obviously you're thinking about it from that perspective, but if you're an innovator, you are perhaps thinking about potential positive change in society, because one thing that decentralized blockchain technologies can potentially help the 2+ billion or more people who are in desperate poverty right now is access to banking, and that is peer-to-peer banking rather than centralized control banking. And so the banks of the world are scared, and because their positions of power and authority are being challenged, and they're desperately trying to keep that kind of centralized power and control. And decentralized blockchains and decentralized finance, or DeFi as it's called, is potentially a massive opportunity for people who are currently in poverty. Now, smart banks realize this, and they are evolving, and they are becoming much more open to using these technologies. And just very recently, in the last few days, American banks are now able to hold people's private keys as an asset class. That was not an asset class, but if people have got private keys they want to keep safe, then banks are now allowed to actually hold their private keys. I don't know why you'd want to entrust your private key to do that kind of thing, but I can understand that some people feel safer with their private keys in a bank than in their head. So anyway, that's an aside. So what I really wanted to encourage you is to think about, what is this technology? Where can I use it for bringing about change? What are the opportunities that I can kind of get on board with? And I just wanted to talk to you about something else. Current Bitcoin price. So the canary in the coal mine, if there ever is one, in terms of what's happening in the economy and where we're going right now, is obviously Bitcoin, which is the grandparent of all blockchain technologies, and I want to call it a blockchain technology primarily, rather than a cryptocurrency, although it does have a cryptocurrency, because the price. I mean, obviously the last pump was perhaps due to a lot of other traffic going on in terms of Chinese seeming adoption of Bitcoin technology. But you can see here what's really interesting about this in terms of the base price. So the base price prior to the initial pump, if you like, or the initial kind of bubble, was incredibly low. But then afterwards, even after it settled down, the new base price was higher. And what I want you to notice is that every time we get a bubble and then it bursts, the bubble never burst back down to the previous low. So the previous low here, I got on board here and I got out around here. So, I just needed the cash. So I wasn't able to stay in, but and I knew that the price would go up. So basically, this spike doesn't go back down to the old value. You can see here the base value here was 400 odd, 500 odd, and then it went to 4,000, and then the last test was around here. I mean, there was a spike drop around March of this year, and it dipped down to about 6,000, maybe 7,000 odd, but it didn't go back down to the old price. And now, if you look, we're now in another kind of explosion of price. So where that's going to go? Well, ARK Invest, apparently, according to Ivan, ARK Invest is predicting that Bitcoin is eventually going to be going to $100,000+. And other people have been saying a lot more. Now, who knows whether or not that's true? And this is not financial advice by any stretch. But what really is the most important thing, apart from the fact that some people are going to make a lot of money, is what's the really important thing is the potential for change and for not just a Cambrian explosion of monetary systems, but a Cambrian explosion of opportunity for a lot of people who currently don't have opportunity. And that's what I see this canary in the coal mine is pointing towards right now. So if we just have a look at the last, say, 1 month, and we can see here that there has been a sudden growth. Now, whether or not that growth continues, there's a lot of speculation at the moment about that. And, if you watch YouTube videos, there are all sorts of people saying all sorts of things. So do your due diligence. I think probably the best thing you can do if you are interested in the bigger picture is to grab hold of ARK Invest Big Ideas PDF, which looks at these 5 main areas and goes into some depth here. So yeah, I hope this video has been a thought-provoking one, and points you in the direction of where those opportunities lie right now. Because certainly, if you're in traditional finance and you're looking to kind of keep your hand on the pulse of that, then you really need to be thinking about diversifying your skill sets, particularly with what's going right now with blockchain technology, and more especially decentralized blockchains such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, and others that I've talked recently about on LinkedIn. So anyway, that's enough for me. I hope this is of interest to you. And do please connect with me and ask me some questions. What do you think? Do you think Bitcoin is another bubble and it doesn't have any real value? Or are you more of the opinion of ARK Invest, who think that this is one of the key technological innovations of the 21st century that everyone needs to at least figure out what part they play in it? I'm obviously the latter. I'm a technology enthusiast, but you may have a different view. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are.